People are afraid of strong enemies. They should be afraid of silent old women.
There was one thing everyone noticed at my son's funeral, but no one spoke about it out loud. They noticed that his wife never looked at the body, not once. She stood beside the coffin, close enough to touch it, yet her eyes never moved in that direction. Not during the prayers, not when the lid was closed, not when the coffin was lowered into the ground. People said she was in shock. That grief looks different on everyone. I didn't believe that, because grief has weight, and relief has lightness. I saw the lightness in her movements, in the way she exhaled when no one was watching, in the way her shoulders dropped as if something heavy had finally been lifted from her life. My son was dead, and she was free. I was 89 years old that day. Old enough to understand silence better than words. When the prayers ended, she stepped closer to me and whispered, "I'll take care of everything now." Everything. She said it like a promise or a victory. I looked at her face, young, controlled, careful. And I realized something that made my stomach go cold. She thought the story had ended. That was her second mistake, because the story doesn't end when someone dies. Sometimes that's when it finally begins. That night, alone in my room, I opened the drawer I hadn't touched in years. Inside was a folded piece of paper my son had given me long before he got sick. He had said only one sentence when he handed it to me: "If anything happens to me, don't trust her silence." I sat on the edge of my bed, holding that paper, listening to the house breathe around me. And for the first time since my son died, I made a decision. Not in anger, not in grief, but with absolute clarity. My son did not die suddenly. That is important. People like to believe death arrives without warning. It comforts them. It makes them feel innocent. But my son had time. Not much, but enough. Enough to notice who stayed. Enough to see who asked questions. Enough to understand what silence really meant. He told me he was tired weeks before the doctors said the word terminal. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, the kind that settles into your bones and never leaves. I sat beside his bed every afternoon, listening to the machines breathe for him. His wife came too. Always late, always busy. She would sit for 10 minutes, adjust his pillow, kiss his forehead like it was a chore, then check her phone. "I'll be back later," she always said. Later never came. One evening, after she left, my son asked me to close the door. His voice was weak, but his eyes were sharp. Too sharp for someone who was supposed to be fading. "Mother," he said, "do you remember when I was a boy and you told me never to rush a decision?" I nodded. "You said the quiet moments are where the truth hides." I nodded again. He looked at the door, then back at me. "She is very quiet when she thinks she's one," he said. That sentence changed everything. I didn't ask who he meant. I already knew. He reached for my hand. His grip was surprisingly strong. "If anything happens to me," he said slowly, choosing every word, "do not argue with her." I frowned. "Why would I?" "Because she expects it," he replied. "And she's prepared for it." I felt a coldness move through me. "Let her take things," he continued. "Let her feel safe." Safe. That word did not belong in a hospital room. Then he said the sentence that has lived inside me ever since. Watch what she does when she thinks no one is watching. The machines hummed. The hallway echoed with distant footsteps. I wanted to ask more. I wanted names, proof, reasons. But my son was already tired. Before he closed his eyes, he added one last thing, almost as an afterthought. She has been planning longer than you think. He never explained what that meant. He didn't have to. At the funeral, I remembered every word. When she didn't look at the body, I remembered. When she spoke about the future, I remembered. When she told me she would take care of everything, I remembered. She thought I was grieving. In truth, I was listening. After the burial, she came to my house, not to comfort me, to inspect. She walked through each room slowly, her eyes measuring walls, furniture, doors. "This place is too big for you now," she said casually. "You shouldn't live alone." I smiled. "You're right," I replied. That surprised her. She paused, just for a second. "I can help sell it," she offered. "We'll make sure you're comfortable somewhere smaller." Comfortable, such a generous word. "I trust you," I said. That was the moment she relaxed. Her shoulders dropped. Her voice softened. Trust is a dangerous gift, especially when it's given freely. Before she left, she placed a stack of papers on the table. "Just formalities," she said. "Things need to be organized." I didn't read them, not then. Old women don't rush paperwork. We memorize faces first. That night, I lay awake thinking about my son's words. She has been planning longer than you think. Planning what? Money, freedom, a new life. I realized then that everyone was asking the wrong question. They were asking what she wanted after my son died. They should have been asking what she wanted before he ever got sick. The next morning, I called her. "I've been thinking," I said gently. "I don't want to manage anything anymore." She sounded relieved. "I'll handle everything," she replied quickly. "Rest, you've done enough." Yes, I had. And now it was my turn to do something else. To watch. To wait, to let her believe she was already winning. Because when people think they've won, they stop being careful. I did not fight her. That confused people. Neighbors whispered. Distant relatives frowned. Even the priest looked at me strangely when I nodded at every decision she made. "She's still in shock," they said. "She doesn't understand what's happening." They were wrong. I understood everything. I understood that the fastest way to lose a war is to show your enemy that you're fighting. So I didn't. When she suggested selling the car, I agreed. When she said the bank accounts should be simplified, I nodded. When she told me certain things were too complicated for someone my age, I smiled and thanked her. I became exactly what she needed me to be, harmless, confused, old. She brought documents almost every week. Some were about property, some about accounts, some about responsibilities I was relieved to hand over. She always explained them quickly, always standing, always watching my face instead of the paper. "Just routine," she'd say, "just signatures." I signed slowly, with shaky hands, as if it took effort. That pleased her. What she didn't notice was that I never signed anything the same day she brought it. I always said, "I'll sleep on it." Old women sleep on things, but we don't forget them. At night alone, I read every word, and I learned something important. She wasn't just organizing the present, she was erasing the past. She removed my son's name from things he had built. She restructured ownership. She redirected responsibilities. Legally neat, emotionally surgical. Anyone looking at the papers would think this was normal. Only someone who knew my son would see what was missing. His intentions. One afternoon, while she was helping me clean, she stopped in the hallway. "You should move out of this room," she said casually. "It has too many memories." I looked at the door behind her, my son's room. The room she never entered. "I'll think about it," I replied. She shrugged. Indifferent, but I saw it, the tension. Some doors make people nervous. That night, I unlocked my old cabinet. Inside were letters my son had written over the years, notes, receipts. Small things most people throw away. He never liked throwing things away. He said memories leave traces, and traces matter. I sorted them slowly. And then I saw it. A name, repeated, always connected to the same account. Always appearing before his illness, not after, before. She hadn't started planning when he got sick. She had started planning when she got comfortable. The next day, I thanked her for everything. "You've made my life so easy," I told her. Her eyes softened. "I'm glad," she said. "You deserve rest." Rest. She used that word often. People like her love tired people. I began asking her small questions, harmless ones. Who do I call if something happens to me? Which account pays for the utilities? Where do the documents go if I forget? She answered eagerly, proudly. She liked explaining, liked being needed, liked believing she was in control. She didn't notice that every answer was another thread, and I was collecting them. A week later, she made her first mistake, a small one, but old women notice small things. She mentioned a meeting that hadn't happened yet, corrected herself quickly, too quickly. I smiled, said nothing. That's the advantage of being quiet. People fill silence with truth. That evening, I went through the papers again, and I understood the shape of her plan. Not dramatic, not cruel, efficient. She wanted a clean life. No complications, no witnesses, no obligations, including me. I did nothing. That frightened her more than anger ever could. Because when you expect resistance and get acceptance instead, you start wondering what you've missed. People think watching means staring. It doesn't. Watching is noticing what others dismiss as unimportant. A pause that lasts too long. A sentence that arrives too early. A smile that disappears too fast. Young people listen to words. Old women listen to patterns. I watched her patterns. She always arrived on Tuesdays, always stayed less than an hour, always brought papers, never flowers. She spoke gently to me, but sharply to everyone else. To lawyers, she was confident. To neighbors, polite. To me, patient. Too patient. Patience can be an act. One afternoon, I asked her to help me reorganize the attic. She hesitated, not because it was difficult, but because she didn't like the idea of being surrounded by old things. Attics tell stories people try to forget. She followed me up the narrow steps anyway, her heels clicking against the wood like a warning. Dust hung in the air. Sunlight filtered through the small window. I watched her eyes scan the boxes. Careful, calculating. "What's in these?" she asked, pointing to a stack in the corner. "Memories," I replied. She smiled tightly. "We can throw most of this away," she said. "You don't need it." I nodded. "Of course." She relaxed again. While she sorted carelessly, I pretended not to notice what she avoided. She never touched one box. A small, dark one pushed against the wall. She pretended it wasn't there. People avoid what they fear being reminded of. Later that week, she began calling instead of visiting. She asked more questions, not about my health, not about my sleep, about timing. "When will you decide about the house? Have you thought about assisted living? Do you still remember the lawyer's name?" Memory worried her. That told me everything. One night, I listened to an old voicemail my son had left me years ago. His voice was younger, stronger. He said, "Mother, if anyone ever rushes you, they are not doing it for your benefit." I smiled. Some lessons age well. I began doing something new. I started repeating myself. I asked the same questions twice, told the same story again. Forgot things I had already discussed. Her face tightened every time. Impatience is hard to hide, especially for people who think they're ahead. She suggested bringing in a doctor. "Just to evaluate," she said lightly. Evaluate, such a flexible word. I agreed. The doctor came, asked questions, tested my memory. I answered carefully, not wrong, not right, uncertain. The doctor frowned slightly, made notes. She watched closely, too closely. After the visit, she made me tea. "I just want to make sure you're taken care of," she said. I looked at her hands. They were shaking, just a little. That night, I returned to the dark box in the attic. Inside were copies, not originals. My son had been careful, bank records, correspondence. Dates that didn't align, patterns, always patterns. I laid them out slowly on my bed, and I realized something important. She wasn't afraid of losing money. She was afraid of being seen. The next morning, I called her. "I'm confused," I said softly, "about the papers." She arrived within 30 minutes. People who are calm do not rush. She explained everything again, slower this time, clearer. She thought she was correcting weakness. She didn't realize she was confirming intent. When she left, she kissed my cheek, a rare gesture, too intimate. "Try to rest," she said. "You worry too much." I closed the door behind her and whispered into the quiet house, "No, you do." The first thing she lost was not money. That's important. Money disappears loudly. People notice. What she lost happened quietly. She stopped being invited. At first, it was small. A dinner she forgot about. A meeting that was suddenly rescheduled. A phone call that didn't get returned. She blamed timing, then coincidence, then bad luck. I blamed nothing. I watched. One afternoon, she arrived irritated. Not angry, not upset, distracted. She talked faster than usual. She didn't sit. "I might need to step out for a moment," she said, checking her phone. "Just business." Business had started interrupting her. That was new. She had always been precise, organized, prepared. Now she was correcting herself mid-sentence, forgetting dates, asking questions she already knew the answers to. People don't notice when someone begins to doubt themselves. Old women do. I asked her something harmless. "Do you still speak to Mark?" I said. She froze just for a moment. "Of course," she replied quickly. "Why? No reason," I said. "I just haven't heard his name in a while." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Mark was the first door. That evening, my phone rang. A man I hadn't spoken to in years. "My name came up," he said carefully. "I thought you should know." I listened. I didn't interrupt. People say more when you let them finish. The next day she returned. Her confidence had shifted, not gone, but thinner. "I spoke to the lawyer," she said. "There are questions." "Questions are good," I replied. "They keep people honest." She watched my face, trying to find something. She didn't. She started visiting more often, twice a week, then 3 times. Control increases when certainty disappears. She brought reassurance for herself. One morning, she didn't come at all. She called instead. "They postponed the review," she said casually. Postponed. Another quiet door. I went into the kitchen and opened a drawer. Inside was an envelope I had prepared weeks ago. Not dramatic, not threatening, just information. Information always travels faster than anger. That afternoon, someone else knocked on my door. Not her. A woman in her 40s. Well-dressed, careful. She introduced herself. "I'm sorry to bother you," she said. "I had some questions about your son." I invited her in. Tea slows people down. She asked about timelines, ownership, responsibilities. I answered honestly. Truth sounds different when it arrives late. When the woman left, I sat quietly for a long time. I didn't smile. I didn't feel satisfaction, just alignment. Things were beginning to move the way they were always meant to. That night, she finally called. Not professional, not calm. "Have you spoken to anyone?" she asked. "No," I replied. That wasn't a lie. I hadn't spoken. I had listened. Her breathing was uneven. "People are confused," she said. "They're asking questions." "Questions are healthy," I reminded her. She didn't respond immediately. Silence reveals fear better than words. "I don't understand why this is happening," she said finally. I did, but I said nothing. After we hung up, I returned to my son's letters. Read one slowly. He had written, "The hardest part about truth is that it doesn't arrive all at once." He was right. It arrives like a series of closed doors. One by one, quietly. People don't disappear all at once. That would be too obvious. They leave the way shadows move at dusk, quietly, gradually, without explanation. At first, she didn't notice. She still spoke confidently. Still walked into rooms as if she belonged there. Still assumed doors would open when she reached for them. But doors remember. She mentioned a gathering she had attended. "They were polite," she said carefully. "Strange, but polite. A politeness is the beginning of distance." She laughed it off, but her eyes searched my face, looking for agreement, reassurance, confirmation. I gave her none. Her phone stopped ringing as often. She checked it constantly. Turned it face down, then back again. People do that when they're waiting for something that no longer comes. One morning, she arrived early. Too early. She looked tired, not physically, mentally. I ran into someone yesterday, she said, sitting down without being invited. They acted as if they didn't know me. She waited. I stirred my tea. That happens, I said. Memory is fragile. She didn't smile. She stopped speaking names. Names carry weight. Instead, she used vague phrases. Someone said, they mentioned. There was a concern. Concerns are what people hide behind when they don't want to accuse. A neighbor I hadn't seen in years waved at me from across the street. She did not wave at my son's wife. That mattered. She began correcting her own stories, changing details, reframing timelines. Truth becomes flexible when too many people remember it differently. One afternoon, she brought wine. She never brought wine. I thought we could talk, she said. Talk, not organize. Not manage, talk. She leaned closer than usual. Do you ever feel, she asked slowly, that people misunderstand you on purpose? I met her eyes. Only when they've learned something new, I replied. Her hand tightened around the glass. She began offering explanations without being asked. Justifications arrive before accusations. That's another pattern. I've always done what's best, she said one evening, for everyone. She waited for me to agree. I nodded once. That's what most people believe, I said. She looked away. That night, I received a message. Short, careful. We've decided to step back for now. No signature. Stepping back is what people do when they don't want to be seen standing beside you. She came the next day, angry this time, not loud, focused. They're treating me differently, she said, as if I've done something wrong. I listened. People confess when they feel cornered. I don't understand it, she continued. Things were fine, organized, clear. Clear for whom? I asked her something simple. Do you know why people trust me? She frowned. Because you're kind. No, I said gently. Because I don't rush them. She said nothing. That was when I saw it, the shift. She wasn't afraid of me. She was afraid of the space around her because it was emptying. She left abruptly, forgot her coat, came back for it 5 minutes later. People who are calm don't forget coats. That evening, I walked through my house slowly, touched familiar walls, sat in familiar chairs. Old places don't change, people do. My son had once told me, isolation doesn't start with silence. It starts when people stop defending you. I wondered how long she had left before she realized no one was doing that anymore. I never argued with her, not once. That unsettled her more than anger ever could. People prepare for confrontation. They rehearse responses. They build defenses. But how do you defend yourself? Against someone who agrees with you. When she complained, I listened. When she accused others, I nodded. When she spoke too much, I let silence finish her sentences. Silence is dangerous. It gives people space to hear themselves. She began arriving without calling. Control looks like urgency. When it starts slipping, I feel like I'm being watched, she said one afternoon, laughing nervously. Isn't that ridiculous? I looked at her calmly. Only if someone has something to hide, I replied. She stared at me, then laughed again, louder this time. People laugh when they're checking if they're safe. She stopped correcting me. That was new. Before, she had always guided conversations, redirected them, managed them. Now she followed. People follow when they're unsure of the path. One evening, she spoke too freely. "They think I planned this," she said suddenly. "My son's death, the arrangements, everything." I said nothing. Her words hung in the air like smoke. She realized what she had said too late. "I mean," she began. "I know," I interrupted gently. "People misunderstand." She swallowed. Misunderstanding is a polite word for suspicion. She asked me questions she already knew the answers to, about dates, about signatures, about decisions. Repetition is how people look for reassurance. I noticed she had stopped wearing certain jewelry, things that made noise, that drew attention. She dressed more carefully now, as if trying not to be remembered. One afternoon, she finally snapped, not loudly, sharply. "Why do you look at me like that?" she asked. "Like what?" I replied. "Like you know something." I held her gaze. "I know many things," I said. "Age teaches you that." She stood abruptly. "You think I did something wrong," she said. I shook my head. "I think people do things for reasons," I answered. "And reasons don't disappear just because someone dies." Her breathing quickened. That was the first time she looked afraid of me, not because I threatened her, but because I didn't. Fear grows when you can't predict reaction. That night I wrote nothing, called no one, sent no messages. I simply waited. Waiting is an action when you know what's coming. The next day, she didn't come. The day after that, she didn't call. Silence had shifted. It was no longer mine. A week later, a letter arrived. Official, neutral, precise. It asked questions she hadn't expected anyone to ask. Questions that don't accuse, but don't forget either. I placed the letter back into its envelope and thought of my son, of his warning. She is very quiet when she thinks she's won. Now she wasn't quiet at all. She was careful, and careful people are already losing. She came on a Thursday. I remember that because Thursdays were the days she believed in control. Meetings, schedules, deadlines, everything aligned. She brought a folder. Thicker than usual. "That letter you received," she said carefully. "It's nothing serious." Nothing serious is what people say when they're afraid you'll ask questions. "It's just a clarification," she continued. "A formality to close loose ends." Loose ends, such a useful phrase. She placed the folder between us. I did not reach for it. That made her uncomfortable. "You don't need to worry," she added quickly. "I've already reviewed everything." Of course she had. She flipped through the pages herself, pointing where signatures were required. Here and here. "This one confirms understanding." Understanding of what? She didn't say. I picked up my glasses, put them on slowly. Time matters. People reveal impatience in silence. "You trust me, don't you?" she asked suddenly. Trust always appears right before risk. "Yes," I replied. Her shoulders relaxed. I signed. Once, then again. My hand did not shake. That surprised her. She closed the folder immediately, too quickly, as if the paper might speak. "You did the right thing," she said. "This will make things easier." Easier for whom? After she left, I returned to the table. Opened the drawer. removed the copy I had prepared weeks earlier. Not the same document. A mirror. One reflected protection. The other reflected exposure. She had assumed I wouldn't read. She was wrong. I had read the pattern. The document did not give her power. It removed her shield. It confirmed timelines. Intent, authority, it made silence official. 3 days later, she called. Her voice was controlled, too controlled. "They want to speak with me again," she said. "Who?" I asked. She hesitated. "That doesn't matter." It mattered. "They asked about you," she added. "Your capacity. Your understanding." I smiled. "And what did you tell them?" "That you trust me," she said quickly. Of course she did. There was a pause. Then she said something she hadn't planned to say. "I never thought it would come back to this." This. Such a small word for such a large fear. After the call, I returned to my son's letters. One line stood out. "People think paperwork ends things. It only proves where they began." That evening, someone knocked on my door. Not her. 2 people, professional, polite. They asked if I remembered signing a document. "I do," I said. They asked if I understood it. "I did," I replied. That surprised them. They asked if I felt pressured. "No," I said calmly. "I felt observed." They wrote that down. When they left, I sat alone in the quiet house. And for the first time, I felt something shift. Not relief, not satisfaction, balance. She called later that night. This time, her voice cracked. "Why didn't you tell me they were watching?" she asked. I closed my eyes. "They always are," I replied. "You just stopped noticing." She hung up without saying goodbye. People don't say goodbye when they think they'll see you again soon. She didn't come with papers this time. She came alone. No folder. No explanations prepared. No practiced tone, just her. And the fear she could no longer hide. She stood in the doorway longer than necessary. People hesitate when they're unsure if they're welcome. "May I come in?" she asked. Her voice was softer now. I stepped aside. The house remembered her. She did not. She sat where my son used to sit. She noticed it too. Her hands tightened. "I don't understand," she said finally. "Why this is happening." I waited. People don't ask why unless they already know what. "I did everything right," she continued. "I followed advice. I kept things organized. I protected us, she still said us." I looked at her carefully. "You protected outcomes," I said, "not people." She frowned. "That's not fair." "Fairness," I replied, "depends on where you're standing." She leaned forward. "Did he tell you something?" she asked. That was the question. Not about documents, not about investigations, not about money, about truth. "Yes," I said. She swallowed. "When?" she asked. "Before he stopped trusting silence," I answered. Her breath caught. She shook her head. "He was sick," she said quickly. "He was confused." "A confusion doesn't create patterns," I replied. That word again. Patterns. She stood up suddenly. "I loved him," she said. Her voice cracked. "Love always arrives after consequences." "I know," I said. She stared at me. "That's it?" she asked. "You know, and you still did this." I folded my hands. "I did nothing," I said. "I allowed things to continue." Her face changed. That was when she understood. "You waited," she whispered. "Yes." She took a step back. You wanted me to fall. No, I corrected gently. I wanted you to stop pretending you were standing. Tears formed, not for my son, for herself. I was afraid, she admitted. I didn't think anyone would notice. I nodded. That's what people believe, I said. That old women stop seeing. She looked around the room. At the walls, the photographs, the quiet. You planned this, she said. I met her eyes. No, I replied. You planned it. I remembered it. She sank back into the chair. I can fix this, she said desperately. I can explain, I can. To whom? I asked. Silence. That was when she cried. Not loudly, not dramatically. The kind of crying that comes when excuses run out. After a long moment, she whispered, "Why didn't you stop me sooner?" I answered honestly. "Because you would have fought me," I said, "and I didn't want to fight." "What did you want?" she asked. I thought of my son, of his last warning, and said, "I wanted you to face yourself without an enemy to blame." She covered her face. When she finally looked up, her voice was small. "What happens now?" That was the hardest question. "Now," I said softly, "things finish the way they started." She stood slowly. "I never meant to hurt you," she said. "I know," I replied. "But you didn't mean not to." She nodded. That was enough. She left without asking for forgiveness. People don't ask for forgiveness when they know it wouldn't change anything. That night, I sat alone, not triumphant, not relieved, just tired, because the truth always takes something with it, even when it's necessary. After she left, the house did not feel empty. It felt settled. That surprised me. People think confrontation brings chaos. Sometimes it brings clarity. I sat alone at the table where my son used to drink his tea. The cup was still there, unwashed. I did not move it. Some things deserve to remain exactly where they were last touched. Burying a child teaches you something no book ever could. It teaches you that pain does not shout forever. It waits. It watches. And if you don't listen to it, it learns how to speak another language. Patience. When my son was alive, people admired my strength. They said, "You're so calm. You handle things so well." They never asked what calm costs. Calm is not peace, it is control. I did not want revenge. Revenge is loud. Revenge demands witnesses. What I wanted was balance. Balance means everyone carries the weight they tried to leave behind. I thought about the years she spent believing she was invisible, about how easily people confuse age with blindness. Old women see more because we are no longer distracted by becoming. We already are. I remembered my son's hands when he was a boy, small, always reaching. And his voice as a man, lower, careful, tired. He trusted me not to protect him from death, but from lies. That is the thing people misunderstand. I did not act after he died. I continued what he started when he warned me. I poured myself tea. My hands did not shake. People expect grief to ruin you. Sometimes it sharpens you instead. I wondered if she would sleep that night, if she would replay conversations, documents, moments she had rushed through. She would. Truth does that. It does not punish, it repeats. I stood slowly and walked through my house, touched the walls, the door frames. This house had held 4 generations. It knew how to keep secrets. I whispered out loud to no one, "You should have been careful what you erased." Because memory has a way of returning. Not as anger, as consequence. I did not call anyone. I did not celebrate. I did not regret. I simply waited. Because old women know something the young forget. Time does not belong to those who hurry. That night I slept, for the first time since my son died. Not deeply, not peacefully, but honestly. She came at night, not early evening, not politely scheduled. Night, that alone told me everything. People don't come at night unless something inside them has collapsed. I heard the knock and did not move immediately. Old women don't rush doors anymore. If someone needs you badly enough, they will wait. She knocked again, harder this time. When I opened the door, she stood there without a coat. Her hair was loose, her face pale, her eyes red not from tears, but from holding them back too long. "I don't know where else to go," she said. I stepped aside. The house let her in. She did not sit, she paced, hands shaking, breathing shallow. "They stopped answering me," she said. "All of them." I waited. People need to hear their own words. "I thought it was temporary," she continued. "A misunderstanding, something I could explain." Explain. The word sounded small now. She stopped in the middle of the room. "They believe you," she said quietly. "Not what they believe." Who? I sat. She stood. Power often changes posture. "I lost my job today," she whispered. Just like that. No drama, no build-up. The kind of sentence people say when they've said it to themselves too many times already. "They said it was about trust," she added. That word again. Trust. She laughed weakly. "I built everything on trust," she said, "and now it's gone." I folded my hands. "Trust isn't built," I said. "It's kept." She finally looked at me, really looked, not as an obstacle, not as a problem, as a person. "I didn't think it would end like this," she said. "I know," I replied. That hurt her more than anger would have. She took a step closer, then another. And then she did something I did not expect. She knelt, not dramatically, not deliberately. As if her legs simply gave up. "I'm tired," she said, her voice broke. "I don't know who I am anymore." That was the truth. She cried then, not loudly, not neatly. The kind of crying that has no audience, the kind that comes when the story you told yourself stops working. "I didn't mean to become this person," she said between breaths. "People never do. That doesn't stop them." I stood slowly and brought her a glass of water. I placed it beside her. Did not touch her. Some lessons require distance. "I thought I was protecting myself," she whispered. "I thought if I controlled everything, nothing could hurt me." Control is a poor substitute for honesty. She looked up at me. "What do I do now?" she asked. That question held no manipulation, no strategy, just fear. I answered carefully. "You live with what you know," I said, "and you stop asking others to carry it for you." She nodded slowly, as if each word weighed something. "I'm sorry," she said, not to me, to the room, to the silence, to the years she couldn't undo. She stayed until morning, did not sleep. Neither did I. We sat in different rooms, connected only by the sound of breathing. When the sun finally rose, she stood, Her face was different, not relieved, exposed. "I won't bother you again," she said. I believed her. People who are broken don't threaten, they retreat. At the door, she paused. "I was afraid of you," she said softly. I met her eyes. "You were afraid of being seen," I replied. She nodded once and left. I closed the door and knew there was nothing left to do. After she left, I did not watch from the window. I did not need to. People who leave like that do not turn around. The house returned to its normal sounds. The clock, the floorboards, the slow breath of old walls. Nothing dramatic happened. That was the point. In the days that followed, no one asked me questions anymore. They already had their answers. Silence is confirmation when spoken by enough people. I heard things, of course. You always do. She moved away. Not far, just far enough. Changed her number. Stopped correcting stories. People remembered her differently now. Not as guilty, as careful. That is worse. One afternoon, I went to the cemetery. I do not go often. Graves do not need company. But that day, I stood in front of my son's name and spoke quietly. "It's finished," I said. Not as a promise, as a statement. I did not ask for forgiveness. He would not have wanted that. He trusted me to do what I always had, to pay attention. People think old women survive on memories. They are wrong. We survive on conclusions. I returned home and opened the drawer one last time. I removed the remaining papers, not to keep them, to let them go. Some truths only need to be known once. That evening, I cooked a simple meal, ate slowly, washed the cup, put it away. Closure does not announce itself, it settles. I did not feel victory. Victory requires an enemy. What I felt was alignment. Everything returned to where it belonged. I slept well that night, not because I was at peace, but because nothing was unfinished. If anyone asks me now, what happened to my son's wife, I say nothing, because the story was never mine to tell. It told itself. Old women do not need revenge, we need truth. And truth, once seen, takes care of the rest. End.